USC, one of the biggest programs in the country. New radio home, ESPN 710 in LA, a station we are on right now, and of course on ESPN Radio nationally, as well as ESPNU. Their head coach is Lincoln Riley, and he joins us now here on Unsportsmanlike, along with Michelle Smallman, Chris Canty, Evan Cohen with you. Coach, first thing, you lost an assistant coach, Cliff Kingsbury, to the NFL. I know he's your buddy. You played with him in college. Do you get all of his accommodations when he leaves? You get his house? Like, what happens when he moves to the East Coast? Will you get that house of Kingsbury's?
Yeah, I should have worked that into the contract. I'm going to have you negotiate my next contract so we can get that done.
I mean, you got it, right? I mean, the Kingsbury house, if he's going to leave, you should be able to use it. I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there.
I like it. I like the way you think.
Coach, let's just jump right into it. Your former quarterback, Caleb Williams, was the first overall pick for the Chicago Bears. Now, I know a lot of NFL fans were spoiled in what we saw from C.J. Stroud in his rookie year last year, but what's going to be the fair expectation for Caleb in his first season in Chicago?
Well, it's a great question. I mean, listen, there's always a reason why you have the number one pick, which is not always a great reason. Now, I do think that the Bears, at least from my vantage point, have built up, some exciting talent, really on both sides of the ball to put around Caleb, which is certainly, a big part of it. I mean, we've seen, high-profile rookie quarterbacks go into the NFL, for many years, and a lot of them, tend to struggle or maybe not perform at an optimum level early on. And some of that's the league's new, and it's a new offense, and there's going to be a lot of new for Caleb. But some of that, too, is also, your supporting cast. And so, I mean, I know he's excited about it. I know he's feeling more confident each day with the installs and getting around his teammates and really acclimating to the NFL. I'm sure there's going to be some ups and downs. That's just part of that league. But listen, the guys are going to make some great plays. I think he's going to get better fast, and it'll be a fun ride to watch.
Coach, even though he's a rookie, he's stepping into a situation where he's obviously the guy. What is Caleb Williams like as a leader?
He really grew a lot as a leader, in the years that we had him. Came in as a freshman, played for us in the back half of his career. He really, I think, had to flip that switch more when he came to USC, where we were, restarting basically in every sense of the word. And the thing the guy does really well is he really relates well, to everybody in the locker room, the teammates, the coaches, the other staff members. He's one of those guys that's can honestly be kind of a chameleon. He's, can kind of be in any crowd around any type of people and can be personable, kind of inviting. And I think will create a good team atmosphere in that locker room.
We're talking with Lincoln Riley, head coach, USC, here on Unsportsmanlike on ESPN Radio, ESPNU, presented by Progressive Insurance. You were a huge topic of conversation last week, as you probably know. You did nothing to be a topic of conversation, but your tenure at USC was one. 2 years so far, 19-8. You're 74-18 overall as a head coach. How would you describe your tenure at USC? Have you, in your mind, done a good job?
I don't honestly. I'd say I'm my own biggest critic. If I listened to all the people that doubted me or teams that I've been a part of throughout my career, then I don't think the teams I've been a part of would have had the chance to enjoy all the success that we've had. So listen, when you coach at Blue Bloods, everything's going to be sensationalized, good or bad. That's just the nature of the beast. That's why I don't really get too high or too low on either one of them. I understand that this is a process. The reality is we took over a team that won 4 games a year before we got here. We've won 19 in the last 2. And honestly, I still don't think we've even been very good yet. I think our best years are ahead, and there's been a lot of work, a lot of building, which I knew that when I signed up. I mean, listen, there's a lot more ready-made places that I could have gone. But this is where I wanted to be. This is where I still absolutely currently want to be, and this is where I'm going to be for a long time. And I knew that this was going to take some time to build it into what we believe this can be again. And yeah, I mean, we've more than doubled the previous year's win total both years. But are we excited about the progress? Hell yeah. Are we satisfied with where we're at? Not even close. So it's going to be a fun ride. I've enjoyed these first 2 years, and it's going to get even better from here.
Coach, the last few NFL hiring cycles, your name gets mentioned with open jobs, and I'm curious, How seriously have you entertained potentially making the leap to the NFL?
I haven't. Not in previous years, not recently. It's not something that's in my mind. I think I have the best job in football. I love where I'm at. I love coaching college football. Yes, we've had a lot of changes, but I still think what makes the game great still absolutely exists. And so very content with where I'm at and just very focused on building it here at USC.
Coach, one leap that you and your program did make is to the Big Ten. I'm a Big Ten girl. I went to Illinois. It still feels weird to me to think about USC and some of these West Coast teams joining the conference. But what's that adjustment been like for you up until this point?
Well, I've gotten used to it a little bit, so it's been good. It's been good. Big Ten does a fantastic job. You can tell it's really run at a high level. I think our commissioner Tony Petitti does an outstanding job. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of really quality programs and universities in this conference. It's undoubtedly one of the top two conferences in the country, I think the new rivalries, the matchups, all that's going to come of it, especially in this age where the playoff is obviously making a shift to incorporate more teams, it's going to be a fun move. It's unique. I think the purists and traditionalists in us, I think for all of us, maybe we'll take a minute to get used to, but I think we're going to love what it creates, and I think we got to embrace all the good that's going to come with it.
We're talking with Lincoln Riley, USC head coach here on Unsportsmanlike on ESPN Radio, ESPNU, presented by Progressive Insurance. When Pete Carroll was a head coach at USC, it was the hottest thing. Celebrities on the sidelines, Heisman Trophy winner after Heisman Trophy winner, which you've already done, by the way, very quickly. How does USC become the hottest program in America again?
Well, we have built-in advantages that no one else has, and those still exist. I think the key for us is going to be. There was, a multi-year period kind of after that where, some things slipped, and we've had to come in here and we've had to do a lot of work. We've had to start to rebuild the roster, which, with the roster that we took over is a, 3 to 4 year process. We are in the midst of changing from having, probably, one of the smaller, maybe least functional facilities in the country. And, here a year from now, we're going to have the best one. Obviously, we're in a new conference. We've got new athletic administration. New coaching staff. Pretty much everything everything that we've done here over the first 2 years is to lay that infrastructure so that the advantages that are here can be there again. And they are real. The academics that come with this place, the exposure, the media market, the quality of life in Southern California. There's just the advantages here are crazy, honestly. And once as we continue to check some of these other boxes, fix some of the things that needed fixing when we got here, those are going to show more and more. The firepower still exists here, and it's just a matter of time.
Coach, I want to ask you about your quarterback room. You've got two signal callers in Miller Moss and Jaden Mayava, who are both in the top 25 in Heisman odds. Are we going to see you run a two-quarterback system this season, or will it be a true quarterback battle where you'll name one guy the full-time starter for the entirety of the year?
Yeah, we'll name one guy. I'm not much of a believer in a two-quarterback system, so we'll name one guy. We're going to let those guys battle it out here in camp as they did here in spring, and then when we feel like somebody really separates themselves and really makes it clear for us, then we'll make that decision. But no, I feel fortunate to have a really good room right now. Several guys in that room that certainly warrant reps and warrant being in the discussion. It's a good mix in the room of talent, experience, and a really hungry, competitive room. So had a chance to be in a couple of pretty good quarterback rooms, and feel like this one has a chance to be fantastic. So looking forward to seeing how that unfolds.
Coach, how does this quarterback room, you said it has the opportunity to be pretty fantastic. How does it stack up to some of the excellent quarterback rooms that you've had? You said that they're comparable. What's the similarity there?
Yeah, well, a lot of that's obviously going to be determined here, on the practice field, on the game fields here this fall. But I think the way that the guys in that room work There's some real talent. There's guys in that room that have a good grasp of what we're trying to do. Even Jaden, who just got here this spring, has really picked up our system and the mentality and the way we want to play very well. So I like the makeup of it. I like the competitiveness of the room. I like the experience of the room. We got a lot of guys that have played college football in there. They're all really team-first guys that want to win really badly and are going to compete heavy, but they're also going to support each other and their teammates along the way. So typically in my experience, when you've got some of those qualities in that room, that tends to be a pretty successful room.
Well, Coach, thank you so much for a few minutes. Best of luck this season in the Big Ten, obviously, with USC going there. We appreciate the time.
Of course, y'all got it. Fight on.
All right, there's Lincoln Riley, USC head coach, joining us here on Unsportsmanlike, presented by Progressive Insurance. It is so weird that USC's in the Big Ten.
It's so weird.
It's still weird.
It's going to be great, though, isn't it?
But it's
going to be
just still
absolutely
weird
phenomenal.
for me.
Seeing some of those matchups, USC, Michigan, who doesn't want to see that?
It's going to be great, but it's going to take a little getting used to, CC.
We're Unsportsmanlike, presented by Progressive Insurance.
Down.